Look. What is up, Big Ten backers? We are back with another show. We got some special guests with us from his podcast, Two Average Men, right? Two Average Guys. Sorry.
Come on.
Sorry.
Two
My
average
bad.
guys.
I'm used to the 2.5 Men show.
Oh yeah, no kidding. That makes sense.
But 10 years in the making, man.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about your show.
Yeah, so we started back in 2015, and it's me and my cousin Jimmy, and our cousin Brian does the behind-the-scenes stuff. So we started back in 2015, just literally a video camera, YouTube, and that was about it. And so we just sat there, had fun in Jimmy's apartment. Then we moved on to my basement, then to Jimmy's house, and we kind of just moved where we need to and get Husker stuff in our photo. It started off actually doing a lot of Big Ten and overall college football, and then we realized, we're not getting a lot of views. And so a lot of people are like, hey, just talk Husker football. It's like, all right. So we went on just talking Husker football, and we've been doing that for probably the last 8 years, just Husker football. And, so literally we just talk Nebraska football. We move into other Nebraska sports, just try to have fun, enjoy ourselves, drink some beer. We got Backswing Brewing, which is a local brew here in Nebraska that sponsors us and provides all of our beer for the show.
Right on. Awesome. So we were out in Nebraska. What was that? 2018, 2017? Man, greatest fan base.
2019? 2018, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was greatest fan base, man. And they had this greatest argument ever. They took us in, fed us, gave us drinks, showed us around town after the game. But they had an argument about what company has the best seed. Can you give us any insight on what company provides the best corn seed?
Best corn seed?
Yeah, it was like the most Nebraska argument I've ever heard in my life. It was
that's a new one for me. I've never had that argument with anybody. I don't know a whole lot about corn seed. All I know is Iowa has bad corn and we have good corn. So I can tell you that much.
That's what counts.
That's what counts.
All right, so
the corn around here is amazing.
What's your favorite Nebraska story from Nebraska football?
Oh, man, my favorite game that I've been to, and actually Jimmy and Brian were both there, and we were, what was it? Oh, was it 2008? The Colorado game with Alex Henry kicking a 56-yard field goal, essentially to tie the game, and then on the very next play against Colorado, very next play was an interception by Ndamukong Suh, and he rammed over the quarterback, stomping into the end zone for a touchdown to give us the win. I thought the stadium was going to fall apart. Sitting in the student section, I wasn't a student, but man, we had a lot of fun, and that place was bouncing. It was rocking pretty hard.
Here we go. We got some insight. Awesome. DeKalb is the best corn seed.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay,
there we go. Scott Schrader, you're bringing it.
I could agree with that. It's pretty good.
All right, so
nice.
You're probably not a Deion fan, I would assume, since he's the head coach of Colorado. You were talking about Colorado.
It's funny.
Some of these tweets going down, man.
It's funny. I'm a Cowboys fan. So being a Cowboys fan, I always loved. Deion wasn't my favorite. I was more of a more about playmaker with Deion or with Michael Irvin. But of course, primetime was a lot of fun to watch. But the tweets are cracking me up. I would think most quarterbacks probably know everybody on the team, especially if they're a leader. So this one by Shedeur really caught my attention. Of course, I don't even know who that is. So, that just goes to say a lot about the culture, I think, over there and the transfer portal. You got so many guys coming in, so many guys leaving. Even as a leader, that's got to be hard to keep track of everybody.
That was 72 of 85 people transferred. So only, what was that? 17 kids who are originally there since Deion took over are still there.
Yep.
That's insane, man.
Crazy.
Is there a culture at that point, or are you just a transient society?
Well, I think it's hard to build a culture in a football team with guys that are there for only a year or two. I mean, it's really hard to build them up unless you're bringing in guys that are in their third and fourth year, and maybe they played with some of the other guys on the team. And he even said it. He's not about building a culture and a teamwork mentality. He wants to win games. And I'm like, well, that's exactly why you're 4-8 last year. You don't have a team playing together, then you throw your offensive line under the bus. Well, now they're not going to want to protect your kid. Your defense is struggling. You got one player. Your son on defense, Shiloh's better probably than Shedeur. I think Shiloh is actually a really good ball player, but he never talks about him. And if I was Shiloh, I'd be like, yo, I'm going to transfer. But that won't happen. But, I just think, it goes now. Deion's going back and forth with people on Twitter too. Which,
oh, man, I got this. I got sent something. Vern Funquist said, hey, buddy, you got time every day. You're 4-8. You haven't done an in-home recruiting visit since you've been in Boulder. You're the LeVar Bell with a headset. And Prime responded to it. I mean, this guy, I think he runs a podcast, but I don't know much about him. Vern Funquist, college football. He's got a blue check mark and everything, so he must be special.
he must be something, yeah.
But Prime was like, he's going to be a top pick. Where are you going, son? LOL.
Yeah,
I got time.
He does have time. He doesn't go out and recruit, which cracks me up. Like, people are like, oh, he's changing the game. Like, no, he's lazy. He's lazy.
But he always speaks about hard work. That's what's kind of interesting. You imagine Nick Saban like get into a tweet war with like fans and media, and
oh god,
that would be wild, man. I would actually like to see it because he probably roast some fools. But
when your recruiting strategy is, I play pro football on primetime, you know where to find me. That's your strat. Oh, I'm going to bring Warren Sapp in here. Like, nah, man, like that's not a strategy for recruiting. But I think that is what is.
Was it Goldberg's son too?
Yeah.
You guys better lay out the media when they come to Memorial Stadium, huh?
Oh my god! I hope Goldberg's there because I want to meet him. I love watching Goldberg wrestle. But again, I think you have they have some good players, but now you also have a lot of players exiting the team because they see that there's no future there. And if you're someone who goes for Deion, after this year, if his sons are gone, he's gone.
We got another one from Scott, man. Scott says, I heard it's so bad in Boulder that even Ralphie hit the transfer portal.
Well, Tom Osborne may do that to Ralphie too. He doesn't mind pointing him in the other direction either. So, I think it's a mess. I think it's a mess in Boulder.
All right, who's more likely to make a bowl game, Colorado or Nebraska?
Oh, I'd say Nebraska. Now, although I do think, Colorado had a lot of positives last year. I hate Colorado. I don't like the clown show going on over there. But I don't think Shador is even a terrible quarterback. I just think he doesn't know when to get rid of the ball. He's all about himself. He's very self-centered. But all he needs is a couple weapons to get free. And
an offensive line.
Yeah. And even if he gets rid of the ball more often than he did, they're not in as bad a position last year as they were. But, Nebraska, if you look at their first 7 games, I mean, their toughest game might be Colorado.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Rutgers is another – I think Rutgers might present another challenge. Rutgers because they're going to be a very seasoned team. So that one will be interesting. But they should be, I would imagine, favored in every game. If not, just might be one they're not favored in. So they're going to come out the gates hot. And then, of course, then they got on the road to Columbus and play Ohio State. And that one's going to be – that'd be a rough match for pretty much anybody in the country going into Columbus.
Yeah, but you never know. I know we wanted to talk about quarterback play. I think the way I look at Dylan Raiola coming in here, for one, he's going to be our starter. And you're not going to go in with NIL money like that and not have him start. He's a 5-star. You're not going to have a local kid, Daniel Kalen, start over him, although he could be a solid backup. And Harburg, we saw what he could do last year. He's not going to start over him. You have – what I see is Adrian Martinez 2.0 with hopefully a quarterback coach who can develop him, because that's what Adrian was missing. Adrian put up almost Heisman numbers his freshman year.
Yeah, he couldn't. I don't think he has quite the dime package that Raiola has. Man, he was dropping dimes in the spring game. He was looking.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
And speaking about quarterbacks, Harburg, man, like he wasn't playing around either. Like he looked pretty good too. So I think, you're coming out the gate. You're probably going to have Harburg start. I think if there's moments where he struggles, or maybe you'll see a little bit of a 2-quarterback system, but I don't think Harburg's taking a back seat right now either. Like I think maybe summertime, we'll see what happens with Dylan Raiola. I think he's probably still got a couple of
Dylan's got it, man. He's in from the start.
I still think there's a couple steps he's got to take, man. I love Matt Rhule though, man. Matt Rhule, I love his pregame speeches. Whatever he thinks is the best, I'm with it, man. And obviously he's a coach. He knows way more than me anyways. Knows way more about his team. But you talk about somebody who can give pregame speeches. His Mother's Day one, talk about moms, oh man, that was electric.
Yeah. Well, I disagree that Harburg's going to be the starter, although I think he's creating a lot of competition because he's there. I think he's a good leader. I think he's a great kid. I also think he can be thrown in different packages. So he's the dude's an athlete. I think he could play some tight end. You could put him out in the slot and he can make some catches and knock some guys over. So I think they could find a way to get him involved in the game. Maybe a little bit at quarterback, some of that maybe wildcat type plays. But again, I don't know if he's going to start. I would be surprised. But if it does happen, I hope that he does well and Dylan Raiola gets his shot when we can get him in. So
I think he's going to start day one, and I think Raiola will take over from there. And I think it'll be more of a respect thing. Matt Rhule will give him the first game, and Raiola will come in sometime mid-second quarter, whatever the case may be, and then it'll be his team from there. That's kind of how I see it shaking down. Obviously, don't know, but
well,
I don't agree with you.
Against UTEP, I don't know. I mean, it could go.
They're no joke, really.
Yeah. No, I mean, no team
had some good seasons
right now is a joke. So
what else did you see in the spring games? You guys lost some major linebackers to graduation. One moved off to the pros. One started his coaching career. So what do you feel about the linebackers? Do you feel like they're ready to kind of take the place, step in and fill those roles?
Yeah, I was refreshing myself on our linebackers. We got Buddha Wright, who his dad played in Nebraska. Javin Wright goes by Buddha. He's a big dude. He's 6'5", 215. Doesn't have a lot of weight, but he's got a lot of speed and he hits hard. And we got to see some of that over the last year and a half when he's been playing some games. You got Princewell. I can't say his last name, but that dude. You
got to try.
Princewell. Uman Milan, something like
Uman Milan. All right, I got to look that up. I'm gonna get that right.
Scott's with you, man.
There's no way I got that right.
He says he's got the farm that Dylan Raiola is under center, so he's with you.
Oh yeah, I'm in on that 100%. You even said he's going to be the starter without saying he's going to be the starter. Dropping those dimes, man.
He's really the starter. He won't be game one out of principle purposes. It'll be.
I don't think that happens. I think Matt's right. I think they throw packages in for Harbaugh and whatever his name is. Harburg, the German dude. The German dude.
Snap, and then hand over the
one snap. Oh, man.
You know how they do that, man.
What's the point?
It's not really the starter.
We got Mekhi Gaber as well. Gaber at linebacker as well. That dude when he played last year, that guy came in and played with a lot of heart. He hits hard again. He can catch the ball. He's had a couple interceptions. That guy, I think, is going to be a good linebacker as well. I'm not too worried about that. We also got McGahee coming in, Willis McGahee Jr. I've seen a lot of really good things out of that guy, so I'm excited. Obviously, his dad was a hell of a good football player, so looking forward to see what his son can do at Nebraska in the jack position. So I think that you also got John Bullock, who's got plenty of experience. He's a senior, so I'm excited about those guys. One of the guys that I'm probably most excited about again this year is probably going to be our defensive back. Why is his name? Losing his name here. Oh, Isaac Gifford.
And he sat in the spring game, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys that didn't play. I think some of them might just have some ailments that they didn't want to play, or just because they wanted the younger guys to get in, get the experience, which I think is fine. Again, it's a practice, so Isaac Gifford has nothing to prove in a spring game. He's already been a stud for the defense. I see him doing a lot this year for Nebraska, just like he did this last year. And then, of course, our defensive backcourt, Tommy Hill, man, that guy had a hell of a year last year. And he's a guy that the year before we were always downing on because he was horrible. He was all over the place, couldn't figure out where to play his position, how to play his position. And, man, this last year he really took over and did so well for the Huskers. So I think we got some good defensive guys that are going to be able to step up for the guys that left.
Please get a kicker and a punter.
Oh, my gosh.
Scott's all over this.
Problem? Scott, thank you. We missed some kicks in the spring game with our sophomore kicker now. I don't know what the deal is. Nebraska used to be known for punters and kickers as well, more so than Iowa, and now we can't kick field goals, and our punter kicks at 25 yards, an average of 35 yards a game. I'm just like, I don't know what's up with that, but we got to find.
It's better than Michigan.
Michigan had average of 33. That was kind of funny in the spring game.
Geez,
they went 50% on field goals, so that was. Yeah, usually the Big Ten has special teams down. I would say outside of Ohio State. Ohio State seems to always have special teams issues for some reason.
Yeah. No, I don't know what's going on with our kickers, but I hope they figure it out before the season starts because, again, we've lost Scott Frost last year. He couldn't win a game within, one score because we couldn't kick field goals. We couldn't get field position. We lost field position every game. Obviously, more issues going on with Frost there, too. But with Rhule, we had the same problem with some of those games. We didn't win the field position battle.
In year one.
Yep.
On our last podcast, I was talking about it. I was like, hey, when they get in that spring game, I told AJ, I was like, they need to just do 2-minute offense, and that's it.
Yep.
Like, just put 2 minutes on the clock and see what they can do.
Just run the
after
clock again.
I mean, that's literally what I would have done. If I was a coach, I'd be like, yo, we're just doing 2-minute offense. We need to learn how to fucking win games.
Yep.
We need to close this thing out. But, man, when I started watching that, I was like, holy shit, dropping dimes everywhere. I mean, he had some of those overthrows. If you go back and watch some highlights that the Iowa fans post of all the overthrows and everything. But, damn,
that's what
man,
they're excited. That's what they're used to seeing. That's what they're excited about. They love overthrows.
I mean, and that's normal in a spring game, number one, and it's also normal for a freshman quarterback to do that. But
we don't need a lecture from a team that scores 3.5 points on average.
When you're 16 to 22 for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the one interception he had looked like it was the receiver's fault. I mean, he dropped the pass.
Absolutely, yeah. But and I think one guy had posted something with like a boo-hoo, some Hawkeye fan. Apparently that guy, what I heard is he actually was not looked at for Lincoln and ended up playing football at Kearney, didn't do well at Kearney, and then didn't really do anything after that. And then he turned his back on Nebraska to become a Hawkeye fan, creates this, Hawkeye page, Hawkeye Chronicles, whatever it is, and now all he does is bash Nebraska.
All right, so who do you hate more? Do you hate, let's go, Nebraska, Colorado, or Iowa at this point? I mean, not Nebraska.
Did you just ask him if he hates Nebraska?
Oklahoma, my bad.
I knew where you're going. Well, yeah, Colorado, Iowa, or Oklahoma, is that the question?
Yeah.
Oklahoma was never a team I hated. I always had a lot of respect for Stoops. It was Texas. Texas is probably number one, then Oklahoma, or then Colorado, and then Iowa. Again, to me, Iowa is a team we should never lose to. And I think we're hopefully from here on out, we don't have to worry about that. But, they still have quarterback issues. They still have lack of an offense. I think Texas was always number one, but Colorado after that, just their fans are just the worst.
All right, we got a couple of questions or a statement and then a question. Yeah, we used to be known for 1,000-yard running backs and kickers, but both have been absent for too many years.
Yep.
But who do you think running back one will be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Transfer from Oregon?
Dante Dowdle.
What's his name?
Dowdle.
Yeah.
He's a stud. Gabe Irvin very well could be, that guy, he's huge. He's like, that guy could probably do like, MMC, like the UFC wrestling. That guy is just ginormous. But I see Dowdle as probably our fastest guy, probably the most speed, and he's got a lot of looks too. But you also can't forget about, and now his name's escaping me. He came on the team last year, freshman. Let me pull him up real quick.
Get him. As you're talking about that, man, I went back through the spring games. Go ahead.
Yeah, Emmett Johnson. So I think Emmett Johnson and Dante Dowdle very well could be our 1-2 punch from a speed perspective. When we need those short down yardage, bring in Gabe Irvin, give him the rock, and let him pound it. There's no reason why Nebraska shouldn't be. I actually should have worn my hat that says run the damn ball. I say it every game because there's so many situations where we should and we don't. Or we run the same play twice in a row. We'll run the same run play through the same gap. And guess what? It works once, doesn't work again. Well, you can't do the same play two plays in a row. We're not the 90s Nebraska's where you can run the option 10 times in a row and no one stops you. So
I think you're going to be screaming a different tune this year.
I hope they're screaming both because, if we get the pass game going along with a solid run game, our offensive line is much improved from 2 years ago. Oh, Quentin Ives is a very good choice at running back too. Again, we're always loaded at running back. We have to know how to use them though. We never have a strong number one guy. It's always sprinkle in guys here and there.
Is it a concern to have a freshman quarterback starting? I mean, the last person to do it was like Trevor Lawrence that did it well, right?
No, I mean, Adrian Martinez started as a freshman.
Yeah, but I mean, he had some struggles. He did all right.
He struggled.
It wasn't his first year. He went downhill as he progressed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he went downhill after freshman year, but he had a quarterback that was more, all he did was act like he was smoking a cigar all the time when you saw him. I don't think he ever actually did any work with the quarterbacks. I don't think they ever actually worked with him. So he went downhill. Everything got worse from there. But he was the Heisman candidate his sophomore year because his freshman year was so solid. But again, I think if we, a little bit different, he was definitely more of a runner than a passer. I think Rhule is going to be more of a passer than a runner. But that's where, again, talking about AJ, that 2-quarterback system when you have Harburg in there. And I think Kalen can run the ball pretty well too. We have potential to use all 3 of our quarterbacks if we use them right and have the right game plan for different teams. And but I think Rhule, again, I think he's going to start, and I do too. Hope he does well. I really hope he does well.
So
I definitely agree with you.
Here's my biggest concern, and it's been the Achilles heel for Nebraska, at least definitely last year. It was bad, like the fumbles, man.
5 turnovers against Colorado.
Sims had 7 turnovers in 3 games, if I remember correctly. He was turned. This is what I've been saying all year about him. All last year, I was just like, he turns it over more than he gives balls away more than Dylan Mulvaney. I mean, he's just chopping them off and throwing them away.
It's rough. He just, that guy, and he had turnover problems at Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be a monster in Nebraska, man. Like I
did too.
I was telling B, like I was like, oh man, this dude is.
And we were there to see the first game.
Like he's crazy good, crazy talented. Man,
we were there in Minnesota to watch them both play that very first game. We did a little tour last year. I don't know if you followed it at all, but we 16, 17 Big Ten games last year, different stadiums.
That's awesome.
We didn't make it to Nebraska, unfortunately, but if I do, I'm gonna recruit one of you guys to come around and help us film.
Oh, for sure.
AJ's gonna be overseas, so it's just gonna be me this year.
Okay.
Uncle Sam's sending me away, so I won't be around this football season. But
all right, hey, we'll get on that. That'd be fun. It'll be that turnovers that killed us more than anything last year. So if we can get away from turnovers, we probably would have definitely been in a bowl game last year. So we would have beat Minnesota. We probably could have beat Colorado too, but we had 5 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, to me, you guys were the far better team than Minnesota, and then 10 times better fans. I almost got into it with a fan when I was in Minnesota.
Oh,
and you know what's crazy is like they were giving me hell for like standing in front of them. And I was like trying to watch the game. Like it was a close game, right? And then they leave. Like you guys were winning, I think, by like 2 points at the time.
Oh,
last minute of the game, these guys leave early to get out of the stadium. But yeah, you're going to tell me to sit down and not enjoy it. Like, but then you leave in a 2-point game that your team's driving down the field to win it with a winning field goal kick. Like,
yep,
it was bad. We just got tickets in the wrong spot.
I still don't know. Nebraska fan, when their offense is charging down the field to potentially kick a game-winning field goal, would leave early. Never.
Shit, they don't leave when they're down 40 points to Ohio State.
Correct.
Oh yeah, we were there, and they were just still holding on to the balloons, man. It was loyal fans, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
People tell you that there's nothing better to do in Nebraska, which isn't right. But when the Husker football game's going on, like the city shuts down, Omaha shuts down for the most part too. You're either at the bar watching with your buddies, or you're at home watching the game.
Scott says Jeff Sims going to Arizona State. It's
I did see that.
He balls out. I think he is going to ball out eventually if he can just control his ball.
I hope he does. I mean, I like the guy. He's
got that running game.
Yeah,
and he's electric.
Yeah, just couldn't hold on to the ball.
All right. So outside of quarterback play, what was your biggest takeaways from the spring game?
Man, I think we got a lot. We saw some of it last year. Speed at the wide receiver position. Jalen Lloyd, Malachi Coleman, those guys pinned up with Rhule. Man, if you hit him in stride, well, and then you got Thomas Fedoni at tight end.
Mm-hmm. Did Lloyd have that long touchdown? It was like 60, 70 yards.
Lloyd, yeah.
That
he
hit him on the run too. They got a good connection already.
If he can drop dimes to those 2 long balls, and you get Fedoni coming out of the tight end position, if we can use our tight end properly, that dude's got big hands. He's a big body guy. He's like your Gronk in college football right now with how he can catch the ball and make plays. I'm excited to watch him with the quarterback to actually throw it to his hands and not behind him, along with other receivers.
The saving grace is the schedule sets up nice for a freshman starting quarterback. Yeah. I mean, they really could be 6 or 7-1 midway through, or almost to the end of October. Really,
I mean, really,
Rutgers, Indiana, Colorado's like the biggest team on their schedule until almost November.
Our last 4 games. I mean, UCLA, USC. I mean, are they really that good? I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't really play that good last year. I mean, they had not what were they 5-7 last year?
Yeah, they were
7-5 USC.
yeah,
Were they?
7-5,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
UCLA.
But still,
then
they were supposed to be in the national title hunt.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think they'll
With
still be a
Heisman
tough team.
quarterback.
They'll still be a tough team. But UCLA, Wisconsin, man, we got to beat Wisconsin at some point.
No, you can't do it. Don't do that to my Badgers, man.
We have to do it at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but we will beat them at least in the next 4 years. And then Iowa, of course, is always a crapshoot. But again, they're not a better team than us on paper. We just have to prove it on the field that we're a better team.
Hey, you get
They're
21
consistent.
points. That's game.
Yeah, 100%.
Iowa's a consistent team, and I don't know about their offensive coordinator that they hired. It didn't seem like a splash hire, but they looked a lot better in their spring game.
He's like some analyst or something.
Yeah,
it came out. Yeah, he wasn't even an offensive coordinator, but apparently he was a good analyst, like Western Michigan or something.
It was Western Michigan. Yeah,
Corey Barney, game changer. Yeah, that dude's he's a big guy. He's gonna take one back on Colorado. Man, how awesome would that be in Lincoln? Just see us get a kick return. We haven't seen one of those in a long time. So Barney's a good guy too. We got a lot of good guys coming into the system. A lot of good transfer guys. Rhule's done an amazing job with Nebraska. He really has. I think. Man, I mean, it's year 2, we've seen his history. We know what he does in his second, third year at schools. So I think this year could be a huge turning point for Nebraska.
All right, so 7.5 wins is the over and under for Nebraska this year. If you're a betting man, you taking the over, or are you a little nervous?
You said 7.5?
Yep.
I think, to me, with our schedule, I'm going to say 8 wins should be the lowest amount we should get this year.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I would pump the over. In my opinion,
ceiling's probably 10. I think it's always a crapshoot with some of these teams, but I just see even on paper, we are so much better than what we were last year. We eliminate turnovers. Our special teams has to improve. We get that improvement along with better quarterback play. Our defense, I think, is going to be awesome again this year. I'm not worried about defense. We got to get the offensive side of the ball correct. If we can correct that this year with better quarterback play and then win field goal or field position, we're going to win 8-9 games.
As soon as I see you guys win a 1-score game, I'm gonna be like, it's on. Rhule's got it.
That's turning point right there. And that's what everyone
thought. But drinking that Rhule-Aid.
Hey, so should the fans be drinking the Rhule-Aid? Is it time to drink the Rhule-Aid?
I think if you see what he's done from year 1 to year 2 in the offseason, the guys he's got to come to Nebraska, I'm not going to say people should drink it. I'm saying people are drinking it. I think they're drinking it. I think they are drunk off of it. They're adding something to their Kool-Aid or their Rhule-Aid to enjoy it even more. But I think there's a lot of hype and a lot of excitement for Nebraska football this year. Even the guys that came back from the pros, Cam Taylor-Britt, DiCaprio Boodle, some of the guys, Adam Carricker that were in the stadium, they said even the feel on the sidelines, everything just felt different. And I haven't seen that much excitement from past players coming to the spring game, being excited about a spring game. So that was exciting to see too. I think he's bringing a different atmosphere, a different culture to the team where everyone wants to play hard for him.
And what about the attendance in that spring game? I thought maybe, just maybe, they would outdo Ohio State and get up there. Was that from the tornadoes, the bad weather? Do you think that was the cause of it? It was raining, right?
That probably had a huge part of it. Someone's like, sometimes you have a tragedy like this and people get away with sports. This was less than 24 hours after that happened. I don't think that's what people were thinking about. Homes were destroyed. A good part of the community was trying to help the rest of the community out in the Omaha area. So, Lincoln becomes one of the largest cities in the country on game day. That's not because of people in Lincoln. It's because of people in the surrounding areas. So, even there's a lot of Husker fans in Iowa, that just across the border that got hit as well. So you look at all of that combined with the bad weather, it's hard to do. But even, what was it, 65,000, something like that?
Yeah, it was 60
Okay,
60. But still, I mean, that's awesome.
So Michigan fans love to give Ohio State fans for pumping their chest about their spring game attendance. Do you think is that a bragging thing, or is that something you should talk about, or is that something you just like, nah, just let it go?
No, I've heard even Husker fans brag about it. It's like, really, it's a spring practice. It's a fun event to go to still. It's kind of your preseason, the season, but you got to wait months for the season to start. Mm-hmm. So I don't put much. It's just the same thing as a sellout. I'm not a huge fan of like, we have 300 whatever sellouts. it doesn't matter. We're not winning games. I don't care about the sellout. Forget the sellout. Win games. You win games, the fans are still going to come no matter what. But you start winning games, that's what matters most.
No,
But
hey,
people
if they're-
put so much on that. I just don't get it.
We gotta get Bob Newton on here as a Nebraska guest. Apparently, he said the spring game was dynamic. So
Yeah.
Hey, man.
chiming in. He says
If-
Rhule-Aid is best served neat.
Neat. All right.
if you're taking record, you want to win. I'll take Urban Meyer's approach. If anyone's keeping track of it, I want to be number one. So
There
why
you go.
not?
There you go. Yeah, let's start winning games. That record's going to stay there. We keep winning. We'll get more and more, backing on NIL. We'll get everything. We're going to get better transfers when we need the transfer portal, better recruits. It's all going to come together, but you got to start winning games. We are still a large, very reputable and noticeable brand.
Absolutely.
Just not
All over.
not winning. So you still got volleyball, baseball's doing well, soccer's done well. Like our sports has done really well. If football starts to do better, everything else just gets better.
So what do you
And
think
dude,
about
Nebraska on the rebound, man?
Oh,
what do you think about Nebraska
Basketball.
concentrating
Yeah.
more? What do you think about them concentrating more on recruiting California, since you got some of these California schools starting to come in the Big Ten? All right, we got UCLA, USC, some West Coast vibe. So to transfer some of that from Texas to pull a little bit of that California, then they get to see their family play at least once, maybe twice a year. I think they should start their focus there and shift a little bit away from Texas. Obviously, you got to have that Texas pipeline, but get some California pipelines, right?
Yeah, I think we've had some success in California in the past. We focused a lot on in-state over the last, 3, 4, 5 years. And I think that's a huge pipeline too. We have a lot of good football here. But a lot of times those guys, we get a lot of walk-ons, but we get some scholarships here and there as well. But that's how the 90s was built. It was built off the walk-on program, guys coming in, a lot of in-state guys coming and really pushing the scholarship guys to be better. And some of those guys earning scholarships. And but I think California is going to have to be a place where we continue anywhere on the West Coast, whether it's California, Washington, Oregon. These new teams coming in, they're going to need that. We have to be a competition for them on the West Coast for those players.
That's
If you don't recruit the West Coast, then they're going to get them all.
I think it's going to be interesting. Can USC, Oregon kind of keep a gated fence around the West Coast recruits, or to do the Big Ten power teams come in there and pluck what they want out of it? And I think that's going to be an interesting recruiting dynamic for the Big Ten going future. I mean, you still have the Ohio, Pennsylvania recruiting bed, which is really good. Maryland has a decent one for its size too, but they cannot keep kids in state to save their lives, man.
No.
Yeah.
I think too, like you said, it's going to be a battleground out there in California now, and I think it should be. I think the Big Ten teams are going to have to go out there to recruit more, and if they don't, again, they're going to miss out on some of these athletes that are going to play against other teams in the Big Ten that are now on the West Coast. I'm even more intrigued on what's going to happen with getting these teams to come into the Big Ten first year. Of course, you got Dan Lanning saying, "Hey, they're going to have to adjust to us." We've heard Frost said it. Frost said they're going to have to adjust to us, and that went really poorly. I think
Oregon's loading the gun, though, man. I'll give them credit. Like they are talking it, but they are loading the shelves, man. Like they are adding everybody from the portal. Everybody talks about Ohio State and buying a roster, but when Oregon might even done a better job of doing it.
Yeah,
they're
and
cocked and ready to
I don't
go.
even know how much they have to buy. They got Nike. Nike's their sponsor, right? I think.
Yeah, that's who's buying them for them.
Yeah, exactly. So they have success. They have recent success over the last few years. They're a flashy program. They got a lot of good offense. I'm really, really interested in seeing what happens with these teams coming in and how they adjust to the Big Ten, because it really is going to have to be an adjustment. Because again, you look at those Pac-12 games and the offense. You're not going to see that type of offense more than likely across the Big Ten. In some games, maybe, but more than likely, you're going to get a lot more defense and a lot stronger guys on the defensive side of the ball across the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't think USC is ready. I don't think they've loaded up the offensive line, defensive line to make the transition to the Big Ten. I think they're going to have a really hard time. UCLA definitely isn't.
No,
they're not they're just in peril right now. Washington, same thing, man. Like they lost everybody.
Yeah,
Oregon is the only one who's taken the offensive line, defensive line serious, and maybe that comes with Dan Lanning's time and the SEC time at Georgia and Alabama. But I think
Georgia West, baby.
Yeah, I think Dan Lanning's not wrong. Like there are some teams that's really going to have to adjust to Oregon. Now let's see how they do with Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. let's see what happens when they're playing those big linemen. They're not used to playing week after week after week. Now Washington had that last year, but we'll see. We'll see if they can do that week in and week out, because there's not a defensive line typically in the Big Ten that's an easy walkover at all.
No.
Like Nebraska, even with their faults last year, their defense was amazing.
Lights out.
Couldn't run the ball on us. Our defensive backs played lights out. I mean, it's a hard, and you get that even with Iowa. You get it with even some of the teams that aren't as good in the Big Ten. Even Purdue has a tough defense. Northwestern plays pretty good defense. It's just you're going to run into some walls, and it's going to be tough, and you got to figure out how to in-game adjust.
Nebraska has a 77% returning production rate. That's some of the highest in the country, man.
Yep.
Things are on fire. If they put a quarterback in that system, things are looking good.
Oh, yeah.
In Lincoln, man.
That, again, last year, if we had a good quarterback last year, we definitely would have gone bowling.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, Wisconsin. UW, Washington. Yeah, Washington.
That's Washington.
Washington.
Troy's a Washington State dude.
Okay.
Cougs.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see how those teams come into the Midwest. Some of those colder games when they start to have to play out here in the cold. That'll be really interesting too, because that's going to be all new to them.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see.
Wazoo on the Palouse, baby.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Looks like one of your guys said you're looking good on the show, man. But yeah, thanks for coming on. If you ever want us to do a return visit, we'd be more than happy to. We got to definitely get out to Nebraska soon. Hopefully, when I make it back stateside, that's going to be one of my top choices to go see. Like a freaking Nebraska fan. Stadium is freaking awesome. The whole atmosphere, the whole town just shuts down and turns into a football town.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing. If you've never been to a Nebraska game, you need to go
get there.
We've been to almost every Big Ten stadium outside of Rutgers in Maryland.
Show them that 100-gallon hat you got.
Oh, I don't have it with me, man.
I love it.
I got the Go Big Red
nice
cowboy hat. I traded some local stuff with a Nebraska.
He stole my Buckeye necklace, and some guy traded him a 100-gallon hat for it. The Go Big Red, man. I was so pissed off. I didn't think anyone would take a Buckeye necklace.
Yeah, we'll do a tailgate or something. We'll get it going in Nebraska. We'll have some fun. We'll get back on the show. I'll get Brian and Jimmy to join us this next time, and we'll have some fun. We'll talk more football. We got football season's not that far away, so.
It always goes. Summer goes fast, man. As soon as you hit June, it's like, oh wow, it's August and football's right around the corner, and it's going to be before we know it.
Absolutely.
Two average guys, man. Go check it out. If you like football, if you like Nebraska, that's your place to be, man.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, man. We're going to come a commercial here. Self-promote. I wouldn't even say it's a commercial. We're going to self-promote, but thanks for coming on, and appreciate it again.
All right, I'll have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
Let's see.
Hell yeah. Gotta love Nebraska fans, man.
A bunch of Buckeye nuts. Happy Valley. You never had a Buckeye? You got 10.
Man, what a good time, man. What a great family. Two average guys, man. Check out their podcast. We reached out to them. They're can't wait to work with them some more. Obviously, they know their stuff. They know their Nebraska football. So good time.
10 years of podcasting, man.
I'm hoping we make it 10 years because, man, oh, man.
We got to get on some of this, man. Scott Schrader, man. This guy is bringing the goods tonight, man. He knows himself some Nebraska football. Third in the country in returning production. We got Dominique Ambrose always joining in on the show. He says, "What's up, fellas?"
College football dogs, you're in the house, man. The college football dogs. What's up, everybody, man? How y'all doing out there?
He traded them Buckeyes for a 10-gallon hat. Laughing his ass off, man.
I had to do a little salesmanship, but I got it to happen. I definitely had to work for it, but But
I'm
Nebraska
pissed.
fans are the greatest, man. I was telling them I collect gear from every stadium I go to, and I didn't have any Wisconsin gear to trade, so I just snatched Beeves, necklace, did the whole chain yank, got the Buckeye necklace, and got him to trade, and it was made for a fun moment.
Man, we had so much stuff we wanted to see. We were going to show some passes from Dylan Raiola, but we just, man, that show just went on.
Talking,
man. It was awesome.
Yeah, good talking sports. But I guess we got to move on. We got a couple another spring game we want to talk about. So, Beeve, man, tell me about Oregon. They're the next biggest threat entering the Big Ten of all the 4 schools coming in. What'd you see from this spring game? What'd you think about it? What do you think about the quarterbacks? Get at it.
14 of 21 performance, 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pretty damn good for Dylan Gabriel. I mean, he is 10-1 odds to win the Heisman next year. Third best behind Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers. So Vegas knows, man, they're going to be good. They're loaded everywhere. They have the receivers everywhere, right? And what they didn't have, they brought in. Tez Johnson was there last year. I think he was a transfer from Troy, if I remember correctly. So Sunbelt, fill us in if we're wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure it was Troy. And then they brought in that
secondary, and now they're in favor to land another blue chip guy out of the transfer portal into that secondary that's already been stocked to the gills, man.
And Dylan looks like he's been there forever, right? When you watch that spring game, I can even post the video for you if y'all want to take a look at it. Just watch a few of his passes. Man, he looked good from the start, right?
He did, man. And both the quarterbacks that they got out of the portal looked really good.
Yeah. And Dante Moore, right?
Yeah, Moore was electric. I thought for sure he would be coming back home to Michigan, land at either Michigan State or land in Ann Arbor. And
oh, yeah. I said it was almost a positive.
Good job getting him. I like Jamie, our resident Duck, man. He's like, watch it. We're going to get him. Like, there's no way, man. You guys got Gabriel. There's no way he's going to Oregon. Boy, man,
yeah, I think we called him out.
He made me eat crow, man.
Sure did. Man, he was looking good. He looks like he's having fun out there, dancing with everyone, having a good time. So, man, oh, man, they're going to be good. Stacked everywhere, right? Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere,
all across
man.
The lines. They were hitting hard. That's what I liked. Physicality, tackling. We're talking 2 teams that are going to be big rivals for Ohio State this year. They're going to be competition. Guess what they did? They tackled in their spring game. Michigan tackled in their spring game. Oregon tackled in their spring game. Nebraska, Iowa, Penn State. You know who didn't? The softest motherfuckers ever.
That
Ohio
Sharman,
State.
That Sharman ultra soft Ohio State. They're out there tickling each other instead of tackling.
If you're gonna try to say you're hard and you're the only one not tackling in spring games, I had a bunch of people call me out on Twitter telling me I look like a fool. I don't. Man, they need to be tackling. I want to see the best of the best plays all game long in the spring game, not just when the second team is in. You want to see how your best do, right? And what better place to do it than with the stadium packed?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm
pissed.
Like the one thing, I mean, I'm obviously going to miss a lot about being gone, but man, that Ohio State Oregon game in Eugene, like I had that thing circled for years. Back when
I'm gonna sell a house so I can go to that game.
Yeah, like it got like we were supposed to go back in the day when they were playing during COVID, and of course the COVID year canceled it. And super disappointed. Was looking forward to get out there, and then now we get a chance to go again. I'm super excited, get pumped, and then now I can't go again. And I'm like, man, I got to get to Eugene for a game. And then this one this year especially looks like it's going to be a massive, massive game, man.
Scott bringing it. Colorado had 2-hand touch pillow fight scrimmage too. Yeah.
So they're up there with Ohio State trying to get that. So you're gonna have the best pillow fight defense.
Who can do it? And so that brings us to the point: who won the offseason, right? I think we can concur that Ohio State probably won the transfer portal. They got all the pieces that they needed. They spent the money they needed.
I don't know, man. I think Oregon actually did a better job. If you actually look at the rankings in the transfer portal, Oregon is ranked above Ohio State. Now, Ohio State probably got maybe better key pieces, but I would say even that's debatable because I don't know if Ohio State actually hit on quarterback again, man. Like, I don't know.
I don't either. Yeah.
I don't know if he's the man for the job. I think if you look at what Oregon did bringing in Moore and Gabriel, I think that's a heck of a lot better portal at that position, and which is the key position, right?
I don't know. I mean, you got to count saying in that. There's a possibility he could start too. It's there.
Dylan Gabriel trumps all of them, whether that's Moore, and then the two that went into Ohio State. But I guess Ohio State did grab their 2 quarterbacks from the portal as well. Now, Sayin, I think, is definitely maybe the better of all of those in the future, but I don't know if that's going to come down to helping out this year. Maybe though, like he could. I'm not saying he. I
don't see that happen. I think Ohio State has all the pieces. They're not starting a freshman.
No, I don't think that would be smart. Like with that defense, how loaded it is, those 2 running backs with Judkins and man, like that running game is going to be insane. And then you gotta get a hold of your boy to see if he actually had any Buckeyes yet.
Oh no, I'm doubting it, but yeah, I need to send him some Buckeyes for sure. I never did that. I told him I was going to, but Travion Henderson never had a candy Buckeye yet. Apparently. According to
that was the first game of the season last year. Anyway, might have changed. That
was his 3rd year in Columbus.
Yeah, that's a bit crazy, but yeah, I don't know, man. I still think Oregon might have won the portal. I think they're kind of neck and neck. But that game, I think the Big Ten is going to come down to these 2. I think Michigan is. Some people have written them off, but that defense, man, it might keep them in a lot of games. And they're getting Oregon at home. Oregon's got a tough schedule, man. Like they're definitely going to get introduced to the Big Ten big time. But I think they've definitely did as much as they can to prepare. Looking to land another.
So who's the Big Ten title winner, off-season title winner? Who would you say?
I think that's because you're an Ohio State fan. You're asking me that question because you want me to say Buckeyes because you just want some kind of win since you guys can't beat Michigan. So I'll give it to you. Here's your.
It's a lot better than being a Badger, man. Come on.
Yeah, we haven't won anything, so we can't win the season or the off season. So but we got a former Buckeye, so we're trying.
You don't even win the jump around anymore as being the best tradition.
You're out your mind, man.
Iowa took you. They got the wave.
I'll give the wave the credit. It is a great tradition, but I don't consider them the same, right? So the wave is,
you're a hat. Hey, man.
They're giving on to their kids in the hospital. You got to love it. You got to respect it. But I'm telling you, as far as hype for football, jump around cannot be beat.
Yeah, you're 2nd place. Just take
I don't know, man. I don't know. When you're talking about hyping the players, hyping the team, hyping the crowd. Now the wave is awesome. You're waving to the children. I can't take away from it. I'm gonna say it's a tie out of respect for the children, but I still think Jump Around does a better job at hyping the stadium.
Jump Around was awesome. I haven't been a part of the wave yet, so I got to get.
I've done the wave. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely awesome. That was like a bucket list things that I wanted to do. That was number 1. So that tells you about Jump Around and where it was. But I've done Jump Around so many times, like it wasn't obviously on the bucket list because
you can't jump around no more.
No,
you've done it so much.
I've done jumped around too much. Can't do it. No, I'm always jumping around. Get out of here with that.
All right, my man. So who won the offseason title? Who is it?
I'd say
in
Wisconsin,
the Big Ten
because we won the offseason because we didn't have a spring game for anybody to watch, so you can't tell us how good or bad we are from the spring game. So we won it.
No one knows, huh? All right, I'm taking Oregon, to be honest with you. I mean, they got all the pieces in place that they needed. They tackled in the spring game. Dylan Gabriel looked like he was fitting in nicely. Man, they're gonna be tough. They got Ohio State at home. They got the schedule going for them a little bit in that regard.
No, I think Oregon won the offseason. I think Ohio State's right there with them. I think they had less gaps to fill, but I think the gaps that Oregon had to fill, they did a better job filling it, especially the secondary. Like they loaded up the secondary, they hit up the
and
wide.
Boom. The most important, they made that spring game list. They packed that stadium. It was almost packed. I think it's
just like a Buckeye fan that
000,
just
right?
track attendance at spring games. It's kind of funny, man.
Eat my ass.
All right, so Scott wants to know what's up with the spring game. They were fixing Camp Randall, kind of give it some updates. I guess they could have played somewhere else, but I guess they didn't want to. I figured they would probably just hit like a high school stadium.
Dude, why not go to Lambeau Field, man?
Why not go up to Green Bay and do it? I was about to say that. So I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't do something and think outside the box instead of just having a closed spring game, scrimmage, practice, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I was disappointed, man. I was like, man, I want to get to the spring game, get out there and see the team, see out there Luke Fickell, see him in his second year, and kind of see the progress. But I don't know. They should have done it in Lambeau. That would have been freaking epic.
That would have been sweet. We would have had to go.
Yeah, that would have been. Or even hit Milwaukee, man. Hit Milwaukee. Like, so there's got to be a good football stadium there that you could have done it in.
Do Wrigley Field.
Yeah. Nah. Oh. We don't mess with Illinois like that, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, man. Not them fibs, man. Not them fibs. We ain't playing no home spring game in fib country. You out your mind.
Hey, man, I have to give you a little bit. All right, we got on that, but let's get to the quickies. Rutgers has an update just for you.
Callie, lick my anus. Name the starter at Rutgers, man. This guy couldn't say his name.
Holy shit.
Callie licking my anus is doing work out in New Jersey, apparently.
Callie Ekmanis.
Callie licking my anus.
Got it. Yeah, exactly.
He's still the Minnesota quarterback, so he can lick my anus. So.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be good when we saw him in that first game. Minnesota versus Nebraska. He looked decent.
But
maybe looked like a quarterback that just
needed so many opportunities.
They did. Unfortunately, they did. And one of our first interviews with fans right after that game, you tell them about that, AJ.
Oh, yeah. So after the game, we're walking around, we're grabbing interviews from fans, getting reactions, and we run into this Nebraska fan who is outside. He's drunk outside of a dispensary and just living the good life, man. But he was like talking about Nebraska's going to bounce back and we're going to be awesome and we want Bama. And he was like, no,
10-1. 10-1. We're going 10-1.
We're going 10-1. We're going 10-1. We want Bama. We don't want Bama. We want Maryland.
And my dumbass, I was like, Maryland's actually pretty good. Which they were, I think. And I was like, maybe you want Rutgers, but Rutgers had a decent season too.
Yeah, and they're looking to bring back a lot of players.
Including Callie licking my anus.
Yeah, and then their running back, man, he carried them.
Goodness,
he's carrying that anus all season. He looked really good. He's back.
He could have gone anywhere. I mean, where you want to go?
He could have gone
pro.
Transferred.
You want to go to the NFL? You want to go to USC? You want to go to Ohio State? You want to go to Miami? Wherever you want to go, we'll take you there. I don't know what kind of NIL they got him, but man,
I am looking forward to the second year of Luke Fickell, man. Like I'm a huge believer in Luke Fickell. I think not only him doing what he did at Cincinnati, he's
making it to the playoffs.
Everybody loves Dan Lanning, right? And they talk about Dan Lanning and Dan Lanning's this and Dan Lanning's that. And I have nothing against Dan Lanning, but Luke Fickell is the only other coach, he's one of three coaches to actually take his team to the playoffs.
True that.
I mean, come on. And it was Cincinnati he did it with. And not only that, he stayed loyal to Cincinnati forever, man. Like, he could have got so many different jobs. He stuck it out. He stayed. He grinded. He kept doing, the Cincinnati thing. I think he's a loyal guy. Obviously, love some Luke Fickell. I think he's going to be –
Scott's fucking killing me, man.
He was depressed after that game, man, because they should have won that. 5 turnovers in that game. I would have got some edibles too,
And then the field goal at the end, man.
Yeah,
damn.
Just the way.
Just another one-score game, man.
And then you traveled to Minnesota to catch the opening, and it's a Thursday night game too. So he probably missed work.
He said he was from Minnesota. Remember, he was one of those guys that was like
from the Dakotas.
No, he said my uncle's a big. Yeah, you go back and watch that interview. He said, "Yeah, my uncle's a big Nebraska fan. And I became a Nebraska fan. I live here in Minnesota." Yeah, it was kind of funny, but still, it was still awesome.
Like maybe third interview, fourth interview, but the best. And it was the first time we did interviews, and this Nebraska fan was just.
And some lady face bit it right afterwards, right off the curb. Man. She was trying to make little gestures behind the scenes, and then just.
No, she was. She was like dancing behind the scenes. She's obviously had some friendly drinks, and then she walked off and went to step off the curb, and down she went. And then
Tyler Van Dyke, yeah. I mean, anyone playing under Mario Cristobal is going to turn the ball over and make mistakes because let's be honest, he makes mistakes. He doesn't know how to take a knee, so they'll probably be better under anyone else.
I mean, Luke Fickell's definitely going to teach him the victory formation.
Yeah, at least he'll have that.
At least have that down. Mario, man, like that dude can bring talent, and he's bringing more and more talent to Miami. But we'll see what happens if he can coach. Luke Fickell walks.
They're saying
circles around.
Estimates that they're paying $16 to $20 million for their NIL to get all these people in there right now.
You know what's confusing to me? Super confusing. Where are these fans at, man? Like, there's never any Miami fans at the games. Like, who is putting up this money? Do they have like a Nike guy? Just like one guy who brings like his 13 friends to the stadium, but he's just worth $1 billion and he just donates it because their fan base is non-existent, man.
It's cocaine.
You hear about it, but you don't ever see them.
It's the Miami Coke train, man. That's what it is.
That's them Florida teams, man. I feel like they just cycle around Florida. It's like who's the best man this year?
Just take a knee. Absolutely. Who's the best Florida team?
I would say that's where the fans go. Like whoever
how
many Gator fans did you see back in the early, or I guess mid 2000s when Urban Meyer was there? There were so many Gator fans. Now you don't see them. They're gone. They became Florida State fans. But when Florida State was down, you didn't see Florida State fans anywhere. I feel like they're just a transient fan base that just cycles between Miami, Florida State, and
they're all at UCF right now.
They're doing Malzahn's doing work there too, man. Like
for sure.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. He's getting people out of the portal and recruiting like crazy for UCF, which is super interesting.
Damn, bro, we haven't hit one commercial yet. It's about an hour in. This was going to be a 30-minute show. What the hell is happening?
Man, we just got talking ball, and I guess we didn't pay the light bill, so hopefully next week we got power. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
It might shut us off.
Scott says UCF the best Florida team. They might be, man. They just might be.
Hey, me and you are on the same wavelength, man.
All right, Beef. You got anything else for?
I don't know. We got to at least hit a Danos before we get out here.
All right, we can hit a Danos. We'll hit a Danos. We'll give a little love to the college football dogs. They're the ones that help us make this show happen. A bunch of passionate fans from NFL to college football. If you're looking for, a new media source for all your football intake, whether that's NFL, college football, check out College Football Dogs. But yeah, we got to pay the bills. Let's hit some Danos.
We got written and podcasts on College Football Dogs, man.
What's up?
Written, they do all the articles and all these podcasts, man. They got it all.
They do. All right, let's get spicy up in here, man. Thanks again.
Let's do it.
Average guys. We got to work with y'all again. That was fun talking ball with you. But let's get spicy.
Yum, yum, get you some.
Yum.
Yum, yum, get you some. Yum, yum, get you some. Yum, yum, get you some.
Dano Seasoning, food's favorite flavor.
Yum, yum, get you some.
I'm Joe Burrito, your favorite burrito. Whoa, whoa.
Joe, we
Hey.
all know you're the best.
What?
But you can always do better.
What you got?
Try the new Dano's Hot Chipotle.
Hey. Ooh, that's spicy. Yum, yum.
Yum, yum, get you some.
All right.
Woo.
Let's give a shout out to the College Football Dogs, man, that make the magic happen here.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy.
Man, oh man, what up, Terry?
Terry made
man.
it in.
You're a little
Thanks
late,
for coming
Terry.
back, brother.
Man, hit us with something, and you get the last comment for the show, Terry. Hit us with something.
Bring it. Let's go. It better be good.
Come on, Terry.
Better be good, Terry. We're counting on you, brother.
On the clock, man. On the clock.
Dun 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 dun
We thought the
dun.
draft was over.
Dun,
We're waiting
dun.
on Terry. Is Terry going to come in with a great comment here? Oh man, I don't know. Running out of time.
Damn. Come on, Terry.
Come on, Terry. You got about 15 more seconds, man. Oh, I think he moved.
Make
on.
a splash, Terry.
Terry was tearing it up last week in the comments, man.
Yeah, he was. Damn, we missed you.
All right, Beef. That's the show, man. Get us on out of here.
Big Ten backers, thanks for joining us. Thanks again for 2 average guys for coming on. Man, that was special. I can't wait to get out there in Lincoln again. God bless you all. Hopefully everything's good in the state of Nebraska with all those tornadoes and people are feeling well. Once again, God bless. Follow us. Like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, y'all. Oh, here we go.
No, Terry, that's not happening.
Not.
Absolutely not. Beef's got a better chance finding Jesus.
I found him. God bless. I told y'all. God bless.
All right. We're out.